Hello everyone, welcome in or welcome back. Thank you for being here and supporting my channel and sharing your time and energy with me today. My name is Amanda, and today we have a month ahead reading for you. And we have 3 soul paths for you to choose from, which will give you a little bit of insight into what's ahead for August for you. So remember to please take what messages are aligning and confirming for you and kindly leave the rest. And don't forget that you can always return to this reading at the end of August to watch it again and to see how some of these events unfolded for you. So if you're ready to get into it, you can find the timestamp for your reading in the description box and pinned comment section. However, if you would like me to introduce you to the soul paths, let me do that now. So for soul path 1, we have express authentically with pride, with the number 6 and the rainbow, with the amber stone. For soul path 2, we have adapt to changing winds with the number 5 and the albatross, with the chrysocolla stone. And for soul path 3, we have explore the discomfort zone with the number 1 and the chicken, as well as the dragon's blood stone. So use your intuition now to choose the soul path that is calling to you the most. And when you feel ready, click on the timestamp in the description box or pinned comments to skip to your reading, and we will see you over there. Hello, soul path 1. Welcome to your reading. So you chose express authentically with pride, with the rainbow, the number 6, and the amber stone. I feel that you could be coming into some kind of balance or harmony in the month of August. You could just be feeling really expressive or outgoing. There's this extroversion that I'm feeling, so you could be going out and doing a lot of things with friends or doing a lot of things with work. I feel a lot of activity and movement, but there's this feeling of freedom as you express and move through the month of August with great joy, with great pride and excitement, and even authenticity. And so I feel like self-expression could be important to you, or it could be something that you're stepping into a little more in the month of August. And amber is a stone of confidence. So you might be feeling a little more confident in the month of August, or working towards building your confidence in the month of August. So let's get an opening oracle message, which may or may not correspond to the oracle card you chose, but let's just get your energy as we're stepping into the month of August here. Okay, so we have the devil energy coming through. This is temptation, and it is the devil in the traditional tarot. What I'm immediately feeling from this is that there could be somebody around you who is trying to block your efforts in expressing yourself or moving into your freedom. So I'm almost getting like somebody shutting you down, pushing you out, pushing you away, telling you that something isn't as good as it probably will be, because they're trying to prevent you from expressing or experiencing something. This could also be patterns of belief as well that are rearing their ugly head, especially as you step into your confidence and stepping into that self-expression. There could be some underlying feelings that pop up which almost shut you down in a way to try to get you to stay small or play small or feel small. I feel like this could be somebody from your past that is living in your head. So whenever you try to do something, to put yourself out there a little bit, or to really live a little bit differently or think a little bit differently, it pops up to say, hey, remember me? So that's just something to be mindful of, nothing to be fearful of, but you could be working through this energy a little bit. And I think this is a good thing, because when we have this awareness of what is trying to keep us from moving forward, we bring awareness to that and we can work through that and almost reprogram those stories that are coming up. So that could be people that are coming in and trying to do certain things, or those could be things that we're telling ourselves that we can bring awareness to and say, hey, I hear you, but I want to do this, and this is where we're going now. So thank you for your service. I no longer need you. So that just could be an energy that is coming in or will be present at some point in August. But I do really feel, and we have a 5 and a 1, which is equivalent to 6 when you add it all up. So I do feel like this is almost a catalyst for you to find your confidence or build confidence in some way. So don't think this as a negative thing. This is something to just be aware of, and so that you can work through and not be hindered by. So what we're going to do first is we're going to grab a few tea leaves at the beginning rather than the end, and then we'll get into the tarot. And let's just see what other energies want to come through. Spirit for Soul Path 1, please, for their month of, thank you, August. One more. Let's do one more, please. Spirit, one more. Thank you. So this one was the first one out. There's possibly a vacation for some of you. You could be, thinking about a vacation or planning a vacation, and that's something that I mentioned in the opening message there, where you might be doing a lot of things, or there's this extroversion where you're having a lot of experiences, and you have ear with good news. So keep your ears open for some good news that could potentially be coming in for you. And gong, an exciting event. So that's interesting. You could be hearing some good news on a vacation or time away from work. This doesn't necessarily have to be a trip around the world. This could just be a trip to the lake to go camping, or this could be a day trip somewhere. This could just be a staycation where you're hanging out at home, and maybe you're talking to neighbors, or you're out and about, and you're keeping your ears to the ground is what I'm hearing. And an exciting event. So that could be tied to the vacation or the time out or the break that you're taking, or the good news. So you could be attending an event that brings you good news. Just going to move these over a little bit so that we have room for the tarot cards that we're now going to draw from. And it's really hot in my room. It's a hot day today, so if I fumble cards, it's because my hands are quite sweaty. So for Soul Path 1, let's get 4 cards to open their reading. Month of August, month ahead, month of August. Okay, so we have the Judgment in the reverse position. There could potentially be an opportunity that you might be nervous about taking. Could be related to this good news coming in, but it almost feels like a higher calling, which may be why there's a working on or working towards self-confidence, because you'll be able to step into this energy of moving beyond whatever this devilish energy is that is around you or within you. And then we have the Justice card, which is that sense of finding balance and harmony. We have the Knight of Swords, and we have the 7 of Wands. So I definitely get a feeling of possibly a road trip here, and there's your opportunity, which could be related to that good news once again. I want to say, do not allow lower energies, or maybe not necessarily lower energies, but past energies, old stories, old beliefs, to make you feel like you're not good enough to grab hold of an opportunity that you feel called to do. Yes, you might have a little bit of discomfort, you might have a little bit of doubt, but don't let those things stop you or give you proof that this thing is not for you. whatever this opportunity is to plant a new seed for something. This could be a start of a new project. This could be a new job. This could be the opportunity to take a vacation. This could be an exciting event that you could be participating or attending. Do not let the scary bits or the discomfort or the fact that it might be a little bit different, don't let that scare you off, especially if you feel intuitively guided to do this thing or excited about going after it or attending or participating in some way. Now, you could look to somebody in your external world to be able to give you an outsider's perspective, but don't lean too heavy on them to make the decision on your behalf. Your decision has to come from you. Now, this could also mean a period of adjustment where you have to adjust to something. And this could be a new job. There's going to be a little bit of adjustment as you figure out a new routine. Maybe this is a job that is going to be completely out of your comfort zone, but in the best way. This almost feels like a bit of a level up, maybe from what you were previously doing. So there will be a little bit of an adjustment, both spiritually, energetically, even physically, when it comes to the routines and the things that you're doing. There are new things that you're learning here. And the Knight of Swords is this energy of moving towards something with great speed. So you could want to take swift action towards this thing. We just have to be mindful of where we put our focus and making sure that we are hitting the mark. So there has to be a lot of forethought and not just doing something out of haste, but to be really thoughtful about it, but also being really decisive about it at the same time. But you are moving towards something at a rapid pace here, and this might not be something that you're used to, or you might get swept up in something that's really exciting. And the Seven of Wands is an energy of persevering and overcoming obstacles, of moving through adversity. So I feel like that's part of your advice, is to tackle this new opportunity, to go above and beyond and face these challenges that you might be facing in the month of August. And maybe you are leaving behind some kind of really impulsive energy. This could be your energy. This could be somebody that you're around. My heart just started fluttering. So I almost wonder if it has something to do with a relationship, or this could be an energy that you're stepping away from or out of. Could have something to do with this devil energy as well, because you want to have balance in your life. You want to find harmony. You want to find peace. And that is not only reflected in the justice, but it is reflected in the card that you chose. And it's also reflected in the sixes here as well. So you really want to come to this equilibrium where there's a lovely balance between work and play. There's a balance between that masculine energy of driving forward towards a goal and taking a break. Receiving, allowing, going with the flow with that divine feminine energy. I feel like there's a higher calling coming in for you in August. Could be job related, or it could just be something that you're really called to do. Could be a side business. It could be a vacation with friends that you just are feeling intuitively like, I need to do this in order to maybe restore some kind of balance. So I would just say to not let any fear, doubt, you can have concerns, but if they're concerns that may or may not happen, do your best to mitigate what you can, but don't let that stop you from doing something that you feel called to do. I think fear, a little bit of fear is okay. It should be an excited fear and not a terrifying fear. But again, don't let that fear and doubt stop you from doing something that you're excited about doing. And there's that divine feminine energy with the Queen of Cups on the bottom. So really having that beautiful balance between your emotional body and the caring for other people as well, and not taking on too much. And also caring for yourself at the same time. Judgment in reverse. Caring for others and caring for yourself is what I was trying to say. Judgment in reverse. What is this? Judgment in reverse, please. There's definitely a little bit of spiritual growth here as well. So expect a little more of that. Maybe some things being challenged on a spiritual level. Thank you. Yeah, the Hierophant in reverse, which is that challenging the status quo. So maybe this calling challenges the status quo or challenges your status quo. Maybe it will require you to do something a little bit differently. So it's not only tapping into your higher wisdom, but not being afraid to challenge things a little bit, to do things a little bit differently, to do differently than you've done before, or do differently than what you've been taught. I feel like routines are changing in the month of August, possibly, and I did speak to that when we talked about potential job opportunities. There could be a shift in, again, a shifting in routines, whether that is you're looking for a job and find it, or you're working for like the first 2 weeks of August and then you take a break for a couple of weeks to go on vacation or something. Taking a break from your current position and doing that break. So I feel a shift in routine is happening in the month of August, and there's some kind of higher calling or maybe some knowledge that you are learning about yourself on a spiritual level, and you're working through that, trying to kind of sift through that a little bit. Justice. What is this Justice? 8 of Wands. The upright. So whatever this Justice is all about, bringing balance in, there could be some things coming towards you, flying at you from all angles. This could be communication, this could be people wanting your services or wanting your attention, or maybe you have multiple job opportunities or job offers. So I think that's why the Justice is here, is because you need to have or find your equilibrium in a bit of a chaotic month where things are busy. Maybe you are busy at work or busy in your business and you are trying to plan an event or a vacation of some kind. 8 of Wands also indicates travel, so that could be related to that vacation or that exciting event. And so this is about maintaining your balance within the chaos. This is good stuff, so don't worry that it's bad chaos. But I feel like there's a lot to do in the month of August. There's a lot to not only consider spiritually and energetically, but also things in the external world where you're kind of dodging a lot of things to do. Maybe some things on your to-do list that have to get done. So let's clarify the Knight of Swords. There could be, multiple things happening here in the month of August. I do get, multiple things. So Knight of Swords. And if you're only seeing parts of yourself in this reading, that's okay too. Because I'm seeing multiple things going on in the month of August, that could just mean that there's multiple storylines for different people here. So parts of this could be for you, parts of it could be for others, and that's with all of my tarot readings. So again, take what resonates and is confirming and leave the rest for somebody else. Knight of Swords. Thank you. 5 of Wands. So I definitely feel like whatever this, or whoever this Knight of Swords is, there's been a little bit of tension or conflict with this person, maybe because of the speed at which they do things. They want to, I'm getting a scenario where you're dating somebody and they want to move in at the end of the month, but you've only been dating a month, so you're really hesitant about that. Or maybe they are just very quick and spontaneous and really impulsive. Let's go on a trip tomorrow, when you need to plan your life, you need to plan around things. And maybe that's caused a little bit of tension between you, maybe some disagreements, because the way you do things are different. So there's that tension. This could be people at work too. So if you're working with consultants, or if you're working with, maybe you're getting a deal from a company, you're writing contracts and they want you to sign really quickly. this could cause a little bit of tension when you push back and say, I need some time to review. And so I just be aware of that, because the justice can also be about contracts. So if there is a contract involved, to not rush that process, to make sure that you're reviewing the contract thoroughly and that you are protecting yourself and protecting your rights. So do not, even though there's tension here and discomfort, do not let that pressure make you sign a bad deal. So definitely get somebody of a higher legal stature to look over the contract to make sure that your rights are protected and that you are getting a fair deal. Again, bringing that back into balance there. So don't feel rushed. And there's this impulsive energy that I feel is causing some kind of tension in your life. So is there a way to limit your interactions or your participation with these people, or at least find some way of coming to a middle ground there? Because we do not want to feel pressured to kind of match their energy if we're not feeling comfortable, if we're not feeling ready to make decisions or move forward. We want to make sure that we're honoring ourselves. 7 of Wands. 7 of Wands. But if you were questioning if you're on the right path, you are. And just because there might be a little bit of resistance, that doesn't mean it's not for you. It just means that there's a little bit more work to do. So 2 of Swords in the reverse. So you're definitely maybe coming out of some kind of stalemate energy where you're not really sure which direction to go, which thing to do. And that's interesting that it ties back to the Judgment, because we started with Judgment in reverse and we ended with the 2 of Swords in reverse. So you could be coming out of this energy of being really indecisive, but just going for it anyway. You're moving forward regardless of your doubts and your fears, and just leaning into the hopefulness and the need to express your desires and your excitement for life even. So I feel like even though this passage might feel a little bit unsafe, I feel like you have what it takes to cross the river. And just as long as your steps are steady and mindful, that you will cross. And so now, because of that action that you're taking, you're moving beyond this stalemate energy, this indecisive energy. You're tapping into your intuition more, and you're following that intuition. And again, this person is moving forward, but she is looking back as if to wonder, am I doing the right thing? If you're following your intuition, I'd like to think that our intuition never steers us wrong. It always steers us to new and exciting places and gives us lessons for our personal and spiritual growth along the way. So I don't think in this instance that there is any wrong decisions, but I do feel like it is a little scary because it is a decision that you'll be making that is for your highest good. So that is really scary, because that means we have to leave behind the things that are keeping us small or making us feel small, and that includes people, thoughts, beliefs, storylines that we're telling ourselves, and working with that subconscious to almost reprogram those things that we've been told or we've been telling ourselves. So let's get a card. Okay. Never-ending story. I feel like you're coming to the end of some kind of never-ending story. Maybe, I'm just trying to see how many 8s are here. The only one is the 8 of Wands. And that can speak to, the 8s can speak to cycles. And you want to bring balance back into this cycle. So there could be some never-ending cycle that you've been experiencing in the month of August. And you want to move differently. You want to stop this cycle. And the Hierophant, that's kind of calling back to the Hierophant, because those are those traditions and routines that we do all the time, maybe without thinking about them. But really, when we stop to take a look, those things aren't actually working for us in the way that feels aligned to our calling, aligned to our spirit. So we have to switch things up and do things differently. So that could be this never-ending story where something feels like it's on repeat and you're doing the same thing over and over again. So again, like I mentioned, there's this shifting gears that's happening from doing one thing and you're shifting to doing another. And I think that's going to put an end to this never-ending story. And the flame just got really big. And in the flame, I see somebody reaching to the sky with their arms, kind of, you know, those blow-up car thingies. So there's some excitement here. Maybe you're going to a concert and your hands are in the air. Interesting. So we have higher power here as well, on the bottom of the deck. And that is this judgment card where you're hearing that calling from within. You are sensing something bigger is on the horizon, or you're moving towards something bigger. And you want to follow that calling because you're genuinely feeling it intuitively, that I have to do this, maybe to end a never-ending story that I have running on repeat in my head or in my life. I just have to shake things up a little bit. One card to end the reading for Soul Path 1, please. What do they need to know for August, please? What else? Final message, thank you. Synchronicity. You could be seeing some synchronicities in the month of August. And synchronicity speaks to divine timing, or things falling into place at just the right time. Certain events may have purpose in the month of August, and you will be in the right place at the right time, possibly for these opportunities to arise. So it might be imperative for you to go with the flow in the month of August and be open to the possibilities. So definitely keep your eyes peeled and your ears open. Bottom of the deck, avoid drama. And I think that is what you're moving away from, is whatever this drama or whoever this person is that might be adding a little drama to your life that isn't really necessary at this time, or you don't want to spend your time and energy on it at this point in time. So Soul Path 1, this is what I have for your month ahead. I hope you found some clarity and guidance today. If you'd like a personal reading, you can click on the link for that in the description box. And with gratitude, I'm sending you my love, and we'll see you in your next reading. Hello, Soul Path 2, welcome to your reading. You chose Adapt to Changing Winds with the number 5, the Albatross, and the Chrysocolla Stone. So there is a sense that change is on the horizon for you in the month of August, or you are moving through and adapting to changes, whether you're currently experiencing that now or you will shortly in the month of August. And I feel this card is for you to remember to move with the changes, to be flexible, to adapt to the changing times, the changing moments, the changing moods. This is very Wheel of Fortune energy, where things are changing in your external world. So you must find a way to ground yourself, center yourself in all of the changes that are happening, and also adapting and being flexible. So not being stuck to a certain routine or a certain expectation of how things should be, because the changes are in the midst of happening. So we must decide when we need to take action and decide when to take a step back and to take pause, to reflect, to observe, to process, to make a plan of action. The albatross, they can move thousands of miles without flapping their wings. They use the wind currents to move. So that could be something as well, where you are just flowing with wherever the wind takes you at this time. And sailors used to look to albatross to determine what the weather was like out at sea, or if there was a storm brewing. If an albatross landed on their boat, they knew that maybe there was a storm ahead, so they would change course or take pause until the storm passed. So I feel like August could be a little bit of a wild energy for you, if you're not already feeling hints of this. But I almost want to say don't fear, because you have warning now if you're not experiencing this. So now you can be open to keeping things flexible. Interesting. Prosperity begins. and the bottom of the deck is disruption, which is the Tower card. So that's what we don't see. It's kind of hidden in the shadows. Maybe we're not seeing this coming. What's interesting with the Tower card, and I love how the prosperity begins, it's like spirits trying to not sugarcoat it, but show you the possibilities before they tell you the truth. It's a little like a yes-no sandwich, and I use this technique in emails sometimes when I have to send a rejection. So you say, yes, thank you for your inquiry. It sounds like a great project. However, due to my schedule, I cannot take this on. Thank you again for considering me, and I wish you the best of luck in your endeavor. So it's softening the blow a little bit, and I feel like that's what Spirit's trying to do. It's like there's new beginnings here. However, before the new beginnings happen, we have to make space for that. So that could be related to change that you are going to be experiencing in the month of August. This could be minor for some of you, where you're just experiencing maybe a move to a new home, or maybe experiencing the start of a new job. So even though those changes aren't mind-blowing, they are still significant changes from maybe what we've previously experienced. Others of you could be going through breakups or putting in their resignation to start a new job, end one job to start a new one, or there's upheaval in their family life. So a little bit more of an extreme circumstance there, but understand that this is clearing the way for the new seeds to be planted, and this is the new seed. And prosperity begins. So I feel like if you haven't already experienced this, then I feel like it could be very short-lived. This disruption or these changes, there could be a lot of them happening in a concentrated period of time, and then by the end of August you're going to be feeling this opening up of opportunity again, where you can start planting new seeds, you can start fresh, you can kind of write your own, why do I hear write your own song? Maybe you're a songwriter, but there's some fresh energy coming in. However, whatever this new opportunity is, I feel like you're going to have to put your time, energy, effort into it, maybe even your focus, and not worry about so much the changes that are happening, but to embrace the changes so that you can step into the new opportunities a lot quicker. And that's not to bypass feelings or to put things under the rug and not process them. This is to do that and also look to what's next, right? Because I feel a lot of us, and me included, we can get so mired in the details and the negativity of this isn't going the way I planned, and it's going in a bit of a sideways motion where it feels like things are failing, they're not going well. But it's all on how we look at things. What is this opening up? What are the new opportunities that this is allowing me to explore or uncover? What are the new seeds that I'm able to plant because of this new space that's opening up? So before we get into the actual tarot, I'm going to pull some fortune cards at the beginning rather than the end. Might give us a few more messages. And my hands are really slippery right now because it's sweaty in my room, so it's very hot today. But we adapt. We do what we can. 3 cards, Spirit, for Soul Path 2 in their month of August. What can they expect? Soul Path 2, month of August. Thank you. 2 more. Thank you. 1 more. Oh, you got 3. Wow. So there could be a lot of stuff going on here. And okay, so we got get back to the basics. Yeah. So don't put too much on your plate this month. I feel like this is part of the change that is happening, is that it's almost getting you to simplify something, maybe pare down or make room for something. So again, back to those basics. Taking a vacation physically or mentally. So you could need to take some kind of vacation or time out to process something, because whatever all of these changes are, it could be a singular change, but I'm feeling multiple changes. I feel like it is going to take a toll on your physical or mental health. So don't forget to find, and that almost feels very basic, as sitting in a hammock or sitting and just being and kind of taking a time out for a minute and not having any distractions or music or a book, but just rocking back and forth in the hammock and just enjoying nature. And then we have, oh, there's your vacation again. Soul Path 1 got this as well. And there are like 200 cards in this deck too, so funny that vacation is definitely being hammered home here. So it's almost like Spirit is encouraging you to maybe consider taking a break at some point in the month of August. Position of authority. You could be in a position of authority, which may mean that it could be challenging for you to take a break. But this could also be somebody in your life that has a position of authority, maybe a boss that you might have to chat to, or maybe you're getting an opportunity from somebody from a position of authority. And Candle, you will be shown the way. So, how are we going to do this here? We might have to stack things on top of each other, but let's just do this for now. I don't think we'll have room for everything, but we'll do what we can. I feel like you're going to be shown the way, which is all the more reason to not try to pressure yourself or try to move yourself from the discomfort that these changes might bring in, but to work with them, to flow with them, to take that break when things are feeling overwhelming. 4 cards, please, for Soul Path 2. Let's just take a look at this one and see. 4 of Pentacles. So you could be feeling quite reserved at this moment. Maybe you are trying to save money. And with the hammock, I almost get staycation. So, and that guy, he's in his garden. It looks like he's at home. So definitely a lot of slow-moving energy for the month of August here, which I think is okay, especially if you are experiencing some challenges and changes in the month of August. Now, I feel like the pages are this energy of taking the opportunity and taking action towards that path or moving down that path. So that Page of Pentacles is taking whatever this opportunity is and putting his whole focus into that. So we did chat about that, about putting our focus into the new opportunities rather than sitting too long in the energy of what no longer is and never will be. So I feel like there is a moment of pause or a moment of feeling really reserved, like maybe you want to hang on to things, maybe you cherish and value the things that you've created or built for yourself. So there's a feeling of not wanting to let go. But I feel you can still hang on to certain things while also being flexible and letting go of the things that is no longer really serving you in a way. It's reminding me a little bit of Marie Kondo's philosophy of only focusing on the things that bring you joy and valuing those things over the things that maybe don't offer the same amount of joy as they once did or don't have the same value that they did. And so this is the feeling that I'm getting from that 4 of Pentacles, where you're hanging on to the things that matter most and letting go of the rest. And I feel like whatever this potential opportunity is, that it's going to be a little new for you. So don't be afraid of taking things one step at a time, of doing things really methodically, really slowly. Don't move too quickly through this energy. This is also, Pentacles are very grounding. So we did talk about grounding and centering yourself, planting new seeds, and letting go what can't really be taken on this journey with us, this new journey, this new chapter, whatever it is. And that could be anything from decluttering our closet and getting rid of stuff that we haven't used in 5 years, or it could be people that we've lost touch with or out of touch with or we're out of sync with, and could also be maybe bringing focus to those things that really give us pleasure and joy, and what are those things of value that we hold dear and that we want to hang on to, and everything else can be let go of. Seven of Cups in the upright. So there's a bit of confusing energy here, maybe a number of choices, which we have vacation here. We have multiple vacations here. We've got lots of changes going on. So there could be a lot of things going on that kind of whips you up a little bit. But I think that it's about bringing focus back to the things that you find valuable in the month of August. So that could be rest, that could be saving money, that could be cleaning your closet, that could be focusing on a new job or career opportunity. But the Page of Pentacles is this very singular energy of I'm going to put my focus into this for the month of August and kind of forget or let go of the rest for now. The Seven of Cups is this overwhelming energy of I have too many options. All of them look good, but that's not really the case. There's a bit of illusion that happens with the Seven of Cups where we think they're all good, but really upon further investigation or sinking deeper into our intuition, we realize that some things are just shiny objects that don't deliver, and other things are actually the opportunities that'll take us where we want to go. So this almost is an emotional card of having too many feelings about the things that are going on around you. And so it's almost like you can't solely rely on your feelings to make decisions or make moves in the month of August. You have to also weave in the practicalities as well. Again, finding that center, finding that ground, getting back to the basics of things, so simplifying your options, prioritizing, focus. One more. One more, please. Come on, one more. Thank you. Aha, okay, Nine of Wands. So this is the Wounded Warrior, and the Wounded Warrior is this energy of doing too much, and that could go either way. We feel really rewarded for doing the hard work to get something done, to earn a living, to build a business, to achieve something that we're genuinely passionate about doing. We have a lot of ambition for this thing. We have a lot of spirit behind us. So naturally, we're going to be exhausted. But if we are chasing something that is not in alignment with our purpose, that is not in alignment with what we truly want to be doing, then it simply just drains our energy. It's a bit of an energy leak, if you will. So the Knight of Wands can be this energy of, is this energy of resilience, but what kind of resistance are we up against? Are we up against the good kind of challenges that make us feel excited and inspired? Or do we have too many things and responsibilities on our plate to the point where we're exhausted? So do we need to have help and relieve some of these or delegate some of these tasks to other people? So that's something to be a little mindful of, because I feel like you've been putting in a lot of work up until now, and maybe you will be putting in a lot of work to get things settled back down to where they're feeling a little more comfortable. The Four of Pentacles can also speak to feeling a little bit insecure, so maybe you're working hard to find that, maybe that stability, that financial stability, and maybe that security within self as well, because things have maybe been turned upside down a little bit, so now you're trying to put the pieces back together again, and that could be reflected in the Nine of Wands. That could be that work, but just be mindful of where you're putting your time, energy, and efforts, and that it's in the right places, and you're, again, that priority and that focus is coming back into the mix with that Page of Pentacles, which will help this Nine of Wands to not go over the edge to the Ten of Wands, where we're now in burnout and we have to actually take time away because we didn't care for ourselves in the upheaval of whatever is going on, or we've taken on too much where we have to take a break to spiritually and energetically recover. So the King of Swords is this energy of being a real strong communicator, a strong decision maker, of somebody who knows their truth so much that they can hit that target with one shot because their aim and their focus and their intention is so clear. They can get above and beyond the challenges that they're currently facing and see the bigger picture as well. So that could be the energy that you need to embrace in the month of August. And it's also a reminder to bring objectivity and clarity of a judgment or a situation in life, to not be too rigid or to make decisions based on assumptions, so to inform yourself as much as possible before jumping to any decisions or conclusions, which may require a little bit of time away. And there's the Ace of Pentacles again on the bottom of the deck. So let's actually pull clarifiers now, because we kind of pulled the cards and talked about them as they came out. So Four of Pentacles. What is this about, please, Spirit? There could be a lot of homebody energy here too. I'm getting a lot of roots, ground, foundation. So you could be doing a staycation, laying in your hammock. Maybe to gain clarity and to take a moment to breathe. Four of Pentacles, Seven of Wands. Seven of Wands is also this energy of fighting against the adversity and the challenges, and maybe being a little fearful, but doing it anyway. But in the reverse, maybe there is a bit of nervousness about facing the challenges. Maybe you're worried about your finances. Maybe you're worried about maybe leaving home. Maybe something is rooting you to home at this time. But it's kind of a standing up for what you want and going for it. But there's a hesitation to doing that. And maybe you are going back on maybe your values or beliefs because of external pressures. So you're not able to stand up for those things because of one reason or another. And so standing up for what you want could mean that we are losing the validation of other people. So what's interesting is that insecurity is coming through kind of on both levels. And maybe you're hanging on to not only your values, but the values of others as well. So there's almost a feeling of you having to navigate both of those things. But really in the mix, there's something that you believe more to be true for you than the other things, than the other values and the other beliefs that may have been imposed upon you from others, or you may sort of agree with that other people have shared with you. But I'm almost getting the feeling of a little bit of people-pleasing energy with that, because you're afraid to lose this person or these people, or lose the respect of whoever you might be dealing with. So you're hanging on, you're keeping reserved, you're not sharing what it is you truly believe or what you truly want. That's for some of you, not all of you, but I feel like you're worried about standing up for what you want. So I'm just going to ask, why? What are you afraid of losing? Page of Pentacles, Six of Swords. So in order for you to chase some kind of new path, you have to be willing to move away from the beliefs and the thoughts and the feelings that are not yours. This feels like a very individual journey where only you are allowed, with your own beliefs and your own opinions and your own advice, to make the decisions on your behalf, to align with your truth and to stick to that, to stand up for that. And that could be the challenge, is to move away from maybe somebody who does have authority and does have maybe a higher knowing. And so you're putting their knowing above your own. But don't forget that you've experienced life, you've learned things, you have inner wisdom that this person does not have maybe the privilege of understanding or knowing. So it's almost like you have to come into focus of that so that you can find your way on some kind of new path here. But I do feel with that, you'll be able to find yourself in waters that are a little more clear. Maybe that's why the King of Swords is coming out, because that could be your underlying goal or desire or aim. is to find a little bit more clarity, to find a little bit more of your own foundation, your own feeling. And this could be why the confusion energy is here with the Seven of Cups, is I don't know what to feel because I have so many things integrated and I almost believe a lot of things at the moment. I don't know which one is mine. I don't know which is somebody else's. I don't know what's right. I don't know what's wrong. And maybe that's what's changing. Maybe that is the reason why the change is in the wind, because you are challenging this within yourself. And you are taking the time to ask these questions, to explore, to get a higher perspective, and to step into your own truth, to plant new seeds based on how you feel, how you think, what your values are, rather than kind of doing it all. The Hermit in the upright. So yeah, this is introspection of looking at that, looking at what's mine, what's others. What am I not standing up for that I really want to be standing up for and pushing ahead towards, regardless of what other people feel? I almost wonder if that's what that Nine of Wands is that you've taken on so many wands, so many responsibilities, so many tasks to help other people, yes, but also there could be an underlying people pleaser within you that is trying to seek validation from them in order to not lose them. So you're acting out of service in a way, which again isn't a bad thing, but don't forget about you. And I feel that's what this is your exploration and simplifying, getting back to your basics, simplifying with the Ace of Pentacles and the Page of Pentacles, that singular focus of, that's great that you want to help people, but are you feeding yourself? Are you living in your own authenticity? Are you caring for yourself in the way that you're caring for others? Or are you doing all of this out of fear, out of doubt, or out of lack of self-worth or insecurity? Nine of Wands, let's see what that's about. So again, we have a singular journey here with the Hermit. This is, I'm going to take that time out to be with myself, to hear my own thoughts, to explore my own feelings, and to trust that. That's what the King of Swords is that trust. So much trust that nothing can shake him. He's open-minded to learn new things, sure, but he also knows his own truth. So if something he hears or understands or learns is not really aligned, then he kind of drops it. Nine of Wands. And it's okay to disagree with people. Disagreement does not mean, and there could be an underlying belief here for some about disagreeing with people and losing love or security. But disagreements doesn't have to be kind of the end of the argument or the relationship or the friendship. It could be for some people who are not willing to understand each other or meet each other halfway or agree to disagree. But in that case, you can't really convince them otherwise if they're not being open-minded enough. But I feel you are open-minded. It's just about learning what works for you, what makes sense for you. And the Devil, yeah, in the reverse. So you are moving away from the ties that bind, those old ways of doing things. And maybe you're coming into a position of your own authority, where your way of feeling and thinking and intuitively being guided is more important than the opinions of others who may only want to be around you to benefit them. And that could be this Devil energy where they are pulling on your resources, your power, your strength to help them succeed and achieve. But what about you? It's almost like you have nothing left at the end of the day for yourself because you've spent so much time moving towards other people's goals and aligning with their values and beliefs. But what about yours? I feel like that's a big thing for the month of August for you, is kind of sorting through that. And what I love about the Hermit is that it's kind of a similar energy where you're coming into yourself to understand yourself and see your own light. And that light will show you the way. And again, the hammock is taking that vacation physically or mentally, so stepping away from. Spirit is definitely telling you to do that in both the hammock, the kite, and the Hermit. Even the Page of Pentacles is that singular energy of stepping away, if only for a temporary time, to get back to the basics, to start planting new seeds. And we have the Lovers at the bottom, which just indicate coming back into balance and maybe reconnecting with oneself, making choices that align with things and people that you love at this time. Even a relationship as well. It could mean happy, harmonious relationship. That could be romantic, that could be platonic, that could be within oneself as well. So offering yourself the same love that you would offer to others in order to have that balance. So we'll get a card from this deck and a card from another deck to end your reading. Spirit, one card from this deck for Soul Path 2. For Soul Path 2. Soul Path 2. Thank you. Look at that. That is almost the exact reflection of adapting to the changing winds. There's changes happening, and I think this is self-initiated. This is you actively participating in this change, actively deciding to create these changes in your life. It could be on a subconscious level, because maybe you're a little tired of doing things in the way other people tell you you should do them. And so now this change, because there's an internal shift, there's now going to be an external shift where you are moving differently in the world. And I think this change, these shifts, this introspection is going to give you a lot of clarity, maybe even a lot of power, maybe even more security than you experienced before. Yeah, take a risk and dive into the mystery. This is a moment for you to take the risk to do something different, to do something that you've not done before, to see about getting different results. And that's the only way we can really rediscover ourselves or to experience personal and spiritual growth, is if we are willing to step into the discomfort zone and be comfortable in that discomfort zone. But moving through the mystery, the darkness, answering the questions, and doing a bit of exploration with the Hermit. So I almost get the Moon card from the traditional tarot, and I also get the Fool here. So this is like a fresh new start where you're stepping into August with great curiosity, and there's a freedom to explore new things about who you are and how you move through the world, how you show up in the world, and kind of defining who you are a little bit more, which is kind of cool. So this is what I have for you, Soul Path 2. I hope you found some clarity and guidance today. If you would like a personal reading, you can find the information in the description box. And with gratitude, I'm sending you my love, and we'll see you in your next reading. Hello, Soul Path 3. Welcome to your reading. So you chose Explore the Discomfort Zone with the number 1 and the chicken, as well as the dragon stone. I feel there's some kind of new exciting beginning here. I'm getting Fool energy with this, where you're curious about what is beyond that zone of comfort that you may have been in for a little bit, and now you're stepping out of that comfort zone to explore, to experience, to experiment. And there might be a little bit of fear and self-doubt, but you're doing it anyway, because the curiosity and the excitement is overshadowing the fear and the doubt. So there's a possible new path or new opportunity here that is coming in the month of August. I get a lot of ambition as well, so you could be pursuing a lot of things. I almost get daredevil energy for this. So you could be jumping out of a plane, or what do you call that? Not cliff jumping, but when they jump off a massive cliff with a parachute. Anyway, you can let me know in the comments, but I really feel a little bit of daredevil energy here. So it's almost like there are people that might be stepping way out of their comfort zone and doing a little bit of adrenaline sport or something in the month of August. But I really feel you're challenging yourself in a number of ways. So let's take a look at your energy at the moment. For Soul Path 3, Spirit. Soul Path 3. Energy for Soul Path 3. Okay, this is the complete opposite of exploring the discomfort zones. However, that doesn't necessarily mean that it won't happen. Interesting, we have Suffering in Silence and the Solitude card, both number 9s. So there's a feeling of isolation here. And well, some of you may be breaking this cycle or this pattern of isolation, and you're just going for the adrenaline stuff and challenging yourself. You're going from one extreme to the other. I feel like there's a lot of you that have been maybe in solitude for some time, or there's a sense of feeling alone. And maybe there's purpose to that, maybe because you have been looking for answers from within, so you want to block out all of the distractions in the external world. And maybe there is a sense of suffering and silence where you can't really share with other people what you are thinking, what you are feeling, what you are experiencing, because maybe people around you wouldn't understand. So there could be you looking towards doing something differently in the month of August, stepping out of this solitude. Maybe you have found answers. Maybe you want to start exploring and experimenting a little bit with what you've uncovered. This could also be some of you speaking to somebody so that you can break this cycle a little bit and step out of your comfort zone with a little bit of support. But I feel like there's been some knowledge that you've gained, and with that knowledge, that insight into yourself, you are now ready to step out of that isolation. And because I feel you've created a strong foundation for yourself, you've offered yourself a lot of wisdom and knowledge and understanding. So now it's time to step out into the world as almost a new you, and exploring the world as a new you, and not being afraid of that. So before we hop into the tarot, I'm going to pull some fortune cards for you. Okay, that one was very excited to show up. And one more for Soul Path 3, please. Okay. Wow. Looks like you have all animals or bugs or creatures. So interesting. You've got a chicken here, a caterpillar, a tortoise, a goldfish. So you could be somebody who really connects with animals, and maybe you connect with animals more than you do humans. So maybe it has to do with connecting with humans more, or maybe connecting with animals more. Interesting message coming through there. So we have the caterpillar. Things will not always be this way. A change is coming. Oh, what I love about this, And what I get with that solitude is that cocoon energy, of that isolation energy, of that caterpillar going into the cocoon to transform and become something different. So I think August is going to be you completing that transformation process, that transformation cycle, so that you can do things differently. Maybe you have felt a sense of things will always be this way, I will always be alone, or I will always suffer with this, or I will never find connection or support, or I'll never be able to achieve the things that I want because I'm constantly feeling stuck, or I don't have enough energy or momentum or confidence to do the things that I want to do. I think that's changing. And August is going to be that month where you're shifting into that new cycle, that new opportunity. Yeah, see? You might be slow, but you're getting there. Slowly but surely getting ahead, and that's all it needs to be. It doesn't have to be big leaps and bounds. You don't have to be jumping off cliffs with parachutes and doing skydiving and all of that. This can be those little mindful steps that get you out of that comfort zone toe by toe. It doesn't have to be at warp speed. And nothing in nature really transforms or grows or blooms at warp speed. I don't know, maybe you can tell me if something out there does. Outside of a cheetah that I'm seeing in my mind's eye that goes at warp speed, they don't go from being a baby to being a full-grown cheetah that can run 1,000,000 miles an hour. That takes time. There's a process to that, right? So I think you need to ease up on yourself a little and understand that it is okay to grow slowly. And look at this, goldfish, increase in material wealth or spiritual growth. I love that. And what I also get from that is that your spiritual growth will help with whatever financial situation or whatever wealth you might be looking for. Because that is kind of self is the catalyst for everything in the external world coming to be. And if you're not seeing the results, and maybe that's why the hermit came through, is if you're not seeing the results that you want and you keep doing the same things over and over again without the same results, then what is it that we're doing that we have to change or shift within us in order to see different results? So that's kind of the feeling that I'm getting there, where now that the spiritual growth has happened, things in the external world are going to be different for you as well, which is kind of cool. So now let's get into your tarot. This is kind of a fun reading so far. I really see this breakout energy for you. Right, so 4 cards for the month of August for Soul Path. I knew it! I knew the Hermit was going to come out. I love it when Spirit's clear like that. All right, thank you, Spirit. Could we get 3 more, please? 3 more for Soul Path 3 for the month of August. 3 more. Okay. All right. We have growth here. We've got 2 3s. Excellent. 3 of Wands. So we have the Hermit, which we already opened with. So thank you, Spirit, for that confirmation. This is just confirming where you're at. You're in a bit of a reflective mode. Maybe you've been in this for a number of months, a number of years, where you're just trying to help yourself grow and expand and understand yourself a little more, coming into your own truth and maybe finding your purpose, finding a new way forward. And so there's lots of information and knowledge that comes in that introspection, where you're really observing yourself, being still with yourself even, to feel what's in your body, to feel what's in your mind and your heart, to give yourself space to process things that maybe you hadn't before. So there's lots of good work there. I want to congratulate you on that, because not a lot of people can do that. There's bravery in that process, in kind of going in the depths of our soul to find our light, to find the things that light us up, and then be able to integrate that into our lives, and to be really firm in that, to not waver on what it is we've learned. 3 of Pentacles in the reverse. So with that, I feel like there has been kind of a shift in values, or maybe the challenges that your values are shifting, the things that you participate in are shifting, because you no longer want to put your time, money, and energy into things that are no longer aligned. Maybe you were doing it before because you felt it was good for business, or it was good experience, or somebody told you that you should do it, or you were worried about maybe the opinions of other people. But you're okay disappointing people at this time because you have such a strength of knowing about yourself that you're okay to let some things go, to reevaluate and almost reallocate your time, money, and energy into things that are going to feel a little more aligned and harmonious for you. And we have the World in reverse. So that could be an energy of things not quite ready to be closed out, or maybe there's a fear of you ending some things or closing out a chapter. This is definitely the end of some significant spiritual cycle that you've been through, possibly a 21-year cycle, where you have been a certain way or a certain person for some time. And because of the work that you've done, because of the healing, and because of maybe connecting with your intuition and your needs and your wants and all of a sudden your three-dimensional world is starting to change. It's this transformation energy of you turning into a butterfly and now having a new experience in life. You're no longer crawling on the ground and the branches and moving in the same way. You now have wings. So you want to express yourself and move and explore and get out of that discomfort zone. You no longer want to sit on the branch. You want to explore the skies. But there's also a fear here, or maybe even you're not quite being ready yet in the month of August. Maybe you are working through that process very slowly, so the world hasn't turned upright yet because there's some things that need to be closed out first. We need to tie a ribbon on a few things before we can officially call this chapter closed. And maybe you're a little resistant to change as well, feeling that you're not quite ready for new experiences, and that's okay. There can be a desire, but there can also be a lack of readiness as well. So again, I think that's why the tortoise is coming through. It's okay to go slowly. You do not have to rush this process. These experiences will be here for you when you are ready, and to not feel like you have to jump ship on everything and everyone. So again, I think that's the process, is now that you have this newfound knowledge and you're feeling differently, you're moving and you're thinking differently. Now it's time to do a bit of assessment of those things that you want to see growing in your three-dimensional world. So now you have to go through the process of that integration, of not only understanding but integrating it. How does that look like in the three-dimensional world? And that is this Three of Wands energy, is the setting the intention of, okay, I'm going to put this into action, or I'm going to consider something. And then the Two of Wands being that energy of looking out into the horizon and planning for, how is this going to work? Making choices. Do I stay where I am, where I'm feeling comfortable? Or do I start stepping out into the world and see what else there is out there? Planning for that, maybe even strategizing for that. And then the Three of Wands is this energy of looking out into the horizon to see how your intentions and how your actions are responding in the three-dimensional world. What are the things that you are manifesting now because of those new intentions, because of those new choices, and because of those intentional actions that you're taking towards changing your life? And so the Three of Wands can be a very observant energy where you've set your intentions and you've put things into action, and now you're just waiting for things in the three-dimensional world to be manifested. But it's also observing which ones you want to focus on, which ones are kind of a priority, and which ones feel the best, feel most aligned, which ones you want to call in closer. And then we have the Page of Cups energy in the reverse position. And this is taking, the pages are, I always like to think of them as taking that Ace of Cups, that opportunity to do something new, to feel something differently. In this case, it would be feeling something differently with the Ace of Cups, and starting to put it into action. But because it's a page, they're new to this path. They have the excitement, maybe the ambition or the creativity to step into the world with this new cup, this new opportunity. And so there's a lot of learner energy here as they step into it. And it's almost that childlike energy of being open to the experience and being willing to make mistakes, because that's going to get them further along, that's going to help them grow, that's going to help them really level up over time if they stay open-minded and be willing to take in information and to be willing to learn from their mistakes. However, in the reverse, there is a sense of you maybe fearing the vulnerability that might come with the decisions that you have to make to start creating the life, the new life that you want to create. So there might be a little bit of fear. There might be a little bit of doubt. There might be maybe some inner child healing that comes up that you may not want to face. But the Page of Cups always have their dreams and their imagination at the top of their mind. And so are there dreams that you once had that you could maybe bring into the fold? Is there any worry or concern or doubts that you have about yourself, or maybe a sense of this is going to be too vulnerable for me to go down this path? Because I feel with these new choices, based on who you are now or who you are becoming, there could be things that fall away because you're making new choices from a new place. And that is a vulnerable space because it's hard to explain, especially to people. Maybe there's coworkers involved or a job involved. You have to put in your resignation or something, or you have to say goodbye to certain friends. How do you explain that? So I feel like that those are the kind of details that I feel you're going to be working through in the month of August, where you're kind of questioning and getting a little nervous about how do I now integrate all of this. Okay, so let's clarify the Hermit. Thank you. Two of Swords. So I feel like you got to a point of, you got to a bit of a crossroads where you couldn't stay where you were, and you couldn't choose path 1, and you couldn't choose path B. So you just kind of sat there in a bit of a indecisive energy because you didn't know which way to go. You didn't have the logic in your mind about which path to take, because either they were both good or not so great, and it's kind of like you were in between a rock and a hard place. So by staying who you were, you couldn't be who you wanted to become, and by choosing who you wanted to become, that meant that you had to let go of who you were and all of the things that were attached to that person of who you were. That's not to say that everything's going to go away and you have to start from scratch, but there could be a number of things that fall away because of that. So that led you to a bit of a stalemate energy or a bit of a crossroads because neither really felt good. But I feel you really stepped into the challenge of doing that to explore yourself on a deeper level, to tune into your intuition and follow that intuition a little more. And so now, in the month of August, you are going to step into intuitively moving through the month of August. And the Moon. So you had a lot of questions that came up or are going to come up in the month of August as you move through this integration process. There's going to be a lot of things that you may question. Being in reverse, this could be you avoiding having to ask the hard questions or having to come to terms with those hard questions, maybe even looking at your values or beliefs, the things that you have been really skilled at, or it's you coming out of it. The moon could be in your past, which triggered all of this hermit energy. But now you're coming out of it and starting to realize that certain things in the 3D world doesn't make sense for you anymore, because now your conditioned beliefs have been understood and your intuitive beliefs have been understood. And those two things were maybe causing some tension before. Maybe there still is a little bit of friction there, but you're now moving through this transition of following that intuition, even though you don't know where it's going to lead you, even though there's maybe still a lot of questions and confusion and mystery surrounding this. Moving with your intuition, I feel, is going to feel a little better for you, and something that you're going to, this is the discomfort zone, is moving from a place of intuition rather than logic. And the King of Pentacles, and that goes really well with the goldfish, increase in material wealth or spiritual growth. So, like I mentioned, as soon as you finally close out this cycle, and I don't really know what that looks like for you, and that could be a long process. It may not just be in one day and boom, it's done and I'm on to the next. It could be a bit of a slow transition. And over a period of time, you can look back and say, oh, look where I am now. I'm in such a different place than I was back then. But there is wealth with the King of Pentacles, and that doesn't necessarily mean money, although it could. It means leadership and legacy and health and a really solid foundation. So I really feel like by following your intuition, by listening to your higher self and living through your higher self, you are stepping into mastery, maybe of manifestation, and having abundance in all areas of your life. But first, we have to tie a little ribbon on all of these loose ends. So 3 of Wands. 3 of Wands. And 3s are about that expansion and growth. It's either in collaboration with others, but it can also be about manifestation and that aspiration for more. And I feel like that's what you're stepping into, is that you're aspiring for something bigger than what you've experienced in your past. And look at that. There's our Fool ending the reading. In the reverse, though. So again, I feel like as soon as the world turns upright, that the Fool will too. And they're both major arcanas, so I do feel like all of the major arcanas are attached in some way. And what's interesting is I'm just noticing a little bit of a zigzag here. So that could mean a lot of emotional ups and downs in the month of August, as well as you kind of navigate this. You navigate universal energies, and you navigate the energies within you and in your three-dimensional world. But the Fool is maybe a fear of taking all of this risk, of stepping into the unknown, of moving into the discomfort zone. I feel that you aspire to do that, but you also fear that and doubt that in yourself. I want to say that you have so much more strength than you did before in your past. You have so much more understanding of who you are. Do not be afraid of new things, and do not be afraid of stepping into zones of discomfort. It is where you're going to find the biggest and best growth. And with the Fool card too, there is no planning. With the 3 of Wands, there is that intention and planning and manifestation energy of putting our intention and action out there. But there's also almost a lack of expectation with the Fool. So not settling too hard on the outcome, the results, the timing, all of that detail. Just focus on that intention, that intentional action, that intuition, and observing, keeping an open mind, and allowing yourself to explore and be surprised by the results and the outcomes. Now, the Fool in reverse could also mean that you have to take a step back first to set your intentions and do that manifestation before you take action. So to not be too careless into stepping into discomfort zones. This is not about just doing things for the sake of doing them. They have to be intentional. They have to align with where you want to go. They have to align with how you feel and what your intuitive or higher self is telling you. They can't just be for the sake of it. So I think that that's just a little bit of further messaging there. So let's get into some oracle cards to end your reading. I'm really excited for you, Soul Path 3. This was really a delightful reading. I think the month of August is going to be quite illuminating for you. Not for you. Yeah, you're so letting go of an old you that is not for you. Could be people, experiences, situations, and look at that. There's your cheetah. So funny. Spirit, you're funny. Go the distance. So this is telling you to not give up on that. I think you have a feeling about something. You have a desire and aspiration for something, to not give up on that. To let go of the things that are not for you. And don't assume that the things that you don't obtain quickly, don't assume that they're not for you. This is about going the distance and continuing to move ahead and move forward. It's okay that you go slowly, because over time, those little efforts and actions are going to turn into big results. But it's only when we look back that we finally see how all of those little decisions turned our life in a new direction. So super cool. Final card for Soul Path. That was pretty strong. Change your tune. So I think that's what you're doing. You're changing your tune. You're changing the way you show up. You're switching things up. This is also this is a change of heart. Updating your opinions, choosing love and excitement and desire over fear. When you change the way you look at things, as Wayne Dyer says, the things you look at change. So holding your ground is good, but there's nothing wrong with doing something new and being something new, which is what you might be called to do now. And again, releasing those expectations of how we think things should be, rather than planning for a rigid way of experiencing life and situations, to let go just a little bit. But I really feel like there needs to be an open-heartedness with the Page of Cups, and a little bit of vulnerability for letting things unfold in the way that the universe sees best. And you only focusing on your intentions and your actions and how you show up. And the universe will kind of take care of the how that happens, the results, the outcome, the timing. And maybe that's something that is changing in August for you, is the letting go of the plan, throwing away the map, and moving step by step with your intention and your intuition. So this is what I have for you, Soul Path 3. I hope you found some clarity and guidance today. If you would like a personal reading, you can find the information for that in the description. And with gratitude, I'm sending you my love, and we'll see you in your next reading.